Howdy! How you doing, Plague?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm doing just fine. Hello, everybody. Welcome, viewers. Anybody that's listening or watching at the moment. This is our very first episode of Otherworldly News, our podcast, or just Otherworldly. I don't know what we're going to call it yet. I feel like Otherworldly News is a good way because it is kind of the telling of stories or strange things that are out there for us.
Yeah.
But yeah, just at random, I had decided that we were going to do this podcast. That's how that started, where I was just like, you know what, let's have these made, let's have all this stuff made. And who's gonna co-host? I'll surprise him. Just immediately attacked you with it. You know, hey, you wanna do a podcast? You're like, oh yeah, I guess. But what are we gonna do? True crime, aliens, cryptids, just anything really, anything we want to talk about. But yeah, I mean, I just got done streaming. I'm tired, so I always, after I do a lot of streaming, I sit down and I like to read a lot of criminal stories, things that kind of make my heart hurt and make me give up on the world around me. I find that to be a much more enjoyable and less earth-shattering than streaming, oddly enough.
Yeah.
God, I was doing a lot of research. I don't know if you had any stories that you wanted to bring up, but I have a lot here. I got a few of them, and boy, you're gonna think these are some fucking crazy ones. They're pretty fun.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear them. I don't have any stories at the moment.
Perfect.
But I've been keeping an eye out to see if I can find anything good. So
trust me, scouring news and all that, that's what I do. I'm a fucking flea, dude. It's so easy. But I have one that's here right now. It's I read the news article and I rewrote what I heard so I can use my own words. And so, like many other things, I created the title for it, which is Runaway Horses in Central London, Blazing a Path of Destruction. Now, this is a pretty good one. 5 military horses, including one seemingly covered in blood, got loose in central London earlier Wednesday. This was like a few weeks ago. Galloping through and rushing through the like rush hour crowds of traffic. Like, this is like in the middle of the day. These horses had smashed into vehicles, injuring several people before being recaptured. A number of military working horses became loose during a routine exercise throughout the morning. It was a spokesperson of the Ministry of Defense told NPR News, all the horses have now been recovered and returned to the camp, but that took over 2 hours to capture these horses that were just smashing and destroying everything in London. Luckily, nobody was horribly injured to the point, nor were the horses, luckily. Six soldiers led 7 horses throughout London on what was a common exercise. This exercise was extended beyond what usually the horses do, but it wasn't like something insane. And they go throughout London itself. They take them from the military base and they travel through the city. And it's called a watering order, it's an hour-long exercise for off-duty horses that at the end, they acquire water for the horses at a nearby inn or like a pub or a tavern, anything like that. But at some point, this exercise had spooked the horses because they were led to a nearby construction site across the road, and apparently there was a loud noise. Something happened, and 5 of these horses bolted, also unseating 4 of the soldiers, which injured at least 3 of them. And they were taken to the hospital with no life-threatening injuries, but literally 4 horses bowed out, knocking off 4 soldiers, and that one unmanned horse that I was discussing, I think he was a part of them. I actually have the names of the 4 horses that escaped, and their names are Vida, Torgen, Quaker, and Tennyson. And those were the names of the horses that escaped. And so these 4 fucking horses, for 2 hours straight, are blazing through London, smashing and causing mass destruction everywhere, where scared citizens cowered in fear and ran and scattered about, with even one of the horses that was covered in blood colliding into a parked tour bus. It was like a double-decker tour bus, and the people on the inside see this blood-covered fucking horse slam into the side of the bus, circle it before kicking in the windshield. This happened over 2 hours, of course, before all horses were captured and all were accounted for, luckily. Vidya, Torgen, Quaker, and Tennyson, no life-threatening injuries. And I believe the blood the horse was covered in was, like, the horse must have got nicked because it, like, slammed into, like, a car, and so it got a little cut up. So I think it was the horse covered in its own blood. But other than that, yeah, the military base within London or around London had... apparently they have some good horses. It only took 4 to terrorize all of London. But God, could you imagine that? You're gonna go to work. For you, you know, you're going like, you go down to the gas station or some shit, right? You're like, you know, I'm gonna get myself a drink, and you just see a fucking horse covered in blood kicking a tour bus to death if it could.
I'd be like, I'm going back in.
Yeah, you'd be like, nah, I'm good. Yeah, I'm good, man. Actually, you know what? I'm fine. Just turns around, walks the fuck back in.
Not today.
Yeah, but the spokesperson for the Ministry of Defense, there was no other real things that they wanted to comment on. I was kind of curious how 4 horses unmount 4 soldiers, like, all together. And luckily there were 7 of these fucking horses, and they only kept 3 under control.
Jeez.
God, it was...
I'm
surprised nobody did die, though. I mean, through rush...
Yeah.
I guess it's because it was rush hour traffic, meaning the cars would be at a standstill and kind of moving slowly. Maybe that's why none of the horses died, or nobody actually got into a actual wreck, is because simply, for once, rush hour traffic actually did good for people.
Yeah.
And have them not be fucking killed by a bunch of horses. Which is, you know, that's a weird way to get fucking killed. Yeah, a bunch of 4 horses just fucking ran along the freeway or the interstate and fucking just got hit. No, luckily they were all parked. God, that's fucking crazy, though. When I read that story, I laughed so hard because I laughed because I was like, well, nobody died, so that's why I laughed. It was funny to me.
Well, yeah, no, I'm just like, and just the significance of 4 horses.
Yeah, the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse of London came in. Fucking the one covered in blood was clearly like the fucking horse of war, because he's trying to kill a tour bus full of, you know, tourists. He's trying to claim people and shit. When I read it originally, it said it ran into the bus, and I don't know why my brain fucking misread it to be like, oh, he got onto the bus. And I'm like, no, he ran into it, broke the windshield and shit, and started kicking it. It was pretty cool, though. I mean, as long as nobody dies, I think that's hilarious, at least.
Yeah, it's funny.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's a good one. And I have a second one here for you that I think you're going to enjoy, at least the name. The pretense of it is actually quite sad, but it's called Cocaine Sharks. Now, I know the name is funny, Cocaine Sharks, but it's actually a study that's going around here. A study from Oswald Cruz Foundation in Brazil has now found evidence sharks are in fact affected by drug pollution in the ocean. The scientists have physically examined 13 wild Brazilian sharp-nosed sharks through dissection. So they captured 13 of them and they cut them open to really look around. The muscles and the liver tissue were then tested with a method called, liquid chromatography, where the molecules are separated in a liquid to look from the main metabolites for cocaine and in cocaine and all that. So they actually did a very specific drug test to discover if there's cocaine in them. And all 13 sharks had tested positive for the drug with a high concentration equal to that of 100 times higher than the previous reports from other aquatic creatures, but they didn't inform how high that actually is. And I'm just like, well, what's like the milligram percentage? How much was it? But apparently it was very high, to the point where it says, honestly, the study said that the field of research was very limited, at least. So, because they didn't have a lot to go off of, and the impact of the cocaine or the benzo. I don't even know how to fucking, like, it's called benzoligonin. Ligonin? Yeah, benzoligonin. It's a form of, like, benzos and shit.
Okay.
On aquatic life is not fully known, so they don't have a lot of research other than, sharks have a lot of cocaine in their systems, and what they've discovered so far is other aquatic lives have a percentage, but the sharks are affected the most for some unknown reason. I don't know why, but researchers have long suggested that the sea life could be impacted by drugs dumped into the water by smugglers, with tons of cocaine found around Florida, South and Central America. So it's actually heavily found around Florida, which makes sense to me. But honestly, the only sharks that should be on cocaine are the ones on Wall Street, to me, and that's about it. Those are the only sharks I think should be on cocaine. But I like that specifically it says South and Central America, but they specifically targeted Florida and into there. So Florida's kind of having a lot of drug smuggling issues just along the shorelines.
Leave it to Florida.
Leave it to Florida, honestly, to be pointed out between South and Central America. Out of all people, Florida. But God, I'm kind of happy though for Florida. At least they're doing something. It's not right, but at least they're doing something. They're pretty shitty.
I'm waiting for the movie now, because they made Cocaine Bear.
Yeah, they made Cocaine Bear. That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's made by the creators of Sharknado.
Oh, dude. Okay, remake of Jaws, but he's just on cocaine. That's it. This shark is rambunctious for it. Like,
I think we're gonna need a bigger line.
Just so violent, and fucking just pulls a dude right off the boat. He tries to do my taxes when he fucking kills me. Buy high, buy low, sell high, buy low, sell high.
It's coming. What's coming? The cocaine shark.
A cocaine shark. God, that would be so fucking cool, the movie Cocaine Shark. Honestly, though, I mean, it's one of my deep, sad truths that I see a lot is, the human race is kind of annihilating everything that makes a planet a planet. And so that's kind of upsetting. But then I'm like, Cocaine Shark. And I like make a funny title about it, and I laugh and forget. And then rereading it reminds me of how depressing it actually is. Just me sitting there. La 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 la. Then I look, oh, I remember why I made the funny title. Shit. Fuck.
Oh man.
I wish we weren't killing the world. Oh well, as I dump gasoline directly into the ocean.
Just burn it all now.
Just fucking get rid of it.
Oh man, that's insane.
Yeah,
honestly.
Purely due to drug smugglers alone, our aquatic life are just so fucked on cocaine. Just that's the main thing. They weren't checking for heroin or fucking PCP or anything. They were looking specifically for just cocaine, and they found it in multiple sharks and aquatic life in concentrated areas of South and Central America and Florida. Which is funny because it makes me feel like Florida isn't considered America.
Yeah, it's Cuba Light.
Cuba Light. Have you ever had Cuba Light? Cuba Light's wonderful, except, you have a bunch of horrid crackheads break into your house, and you might get killed by a gator. And you don't know. You just don't know.
And if you go swimming in the ocean, you might see a cocaine shark.
You might see a cool cocaine shark. And if you travel far enough, you can take a plane from Florida, go all the way to London, where you get to see blood-covered horses kicking windshields. It's so fun.
Mother Nature is pissed.
Dude, I love dude, Mother Nature's fucking awesome. That's why I was so jazzed up every time I hear there's like a tornado.
Oh, hell
I'm
yeah.
like, yeah, come on, fucking take some out. Take some out. Like, I'm just waiting for another huge natural disaster other than that hurricane. Did that hurricane pass already? It was.
Yeah, that one. There was one that passed.
Yeah, but that's the one part about it. It only hits like Puerto Rico, and that like they don't like Puerto Rico's just beautiful. They don't need to be like annihilated by Mother Nature. It's
No.
no, not maybe a little bit of New York, a little bit, just a little bit. Maybe some of Texas. I think a little bit of everywhere. Just enough carnage to really make people go, maybe we should stop fucking around a little bit and figure something out here.
Maybe we should be nicer to people.
Fucking see a Denny's sign crush your fucking like the guy you kind of hated at work, but you didn't really that deeply hate, and you're like, oh, look at him crushed beneath that Denny's sign. Greg wasn't that bad. He didn't deserve that. Like,
No,
he's fucking dead.
My bad, Greg.
My bad, Greg. I'm sorry about that, brother. Well, you had the grand slam you really wanted. Pats the sign while it's covered in blood. Oh, you're good. All right. How about let's do some crime. These are some standard crimes. This one's not that. We're going to start soft.
Okay.
We're going to start soft. And I gave this title of this story a serial killer name, though the man in the story did not kill anybody. He's been arrested. I'll tell you that. This man's been arrested. Call him the Pop-Tart Strangler.
Oh, okay.
Back in the 16th on February 2024, Kentucky State Police get a call to come to the Appalachian Regional Hospital after receiving information from paramedics that they transported a woman who was suspected to be a victim of domestic abuse. Police had spoken to the victim, whose identity, luckily, was not given. That's one thing I hate about journalism, which is they give out the victim's name. And don't do that. Let those people have enough to deal with now, or had a lot to deal with. Don't give out their name. So usually if I see like the names in there, I just say like a false name. Like I try not to give a victim's name because that's fucking terrible. But police had spoken to the victim whose identity was not said, saying that she and her boyfriend, Jeremiah Brown, got into an argument that day about Pop-Tarts. The victim said that Brown grabbed a knife, threatening her before throwing it to the ground and proceeded to choke her. The victim also said that Brown said, "I'm going to kill you." He reportedly choked her until she blacked out. Brown reportedly then dragged her to the front door, then threw her out of the house physically, like picked her up and threw her. Like not just like walked her over and was like, get out, and like shoved her. No, just she was unconscious, blacked out, picked her up and threw her out onto the ground, which also injured the victim's knee. The court had documented the wounds on her knee and her neck. Troopers spoke with Brown, and he said, "We got into a little argument." Troopers arrested Brown on charges of first-degree strangulation, which is fucking crazy because he meant to do it, first-degree strangulation, because he clearly knew what he was doing. He grabbed a knife, aimed it towards her, and then decided better on that, threw the knife to the ground so it wasn't a deadly weapon, and he came at her with malicious intent, strangled her, then threw her. Which also gave him fourth-degree domestic assault, causing minor injury, but he was bonded out the next day. A grand jury returned, and they like re-indicted him for like this shit in June. So he was then issued a new warrant for his arrest, and now jail records show that he is in custody within Big Sandy Regional Detention Center. So yeah, this guy has been captured. So luckily, Jeremiah Brown is now not out on the streets choking women for Pop-Tarts, luckily.
Okay, so this is all over Pop-Tarts.
Yes, I'm gonna give God damn. This dude is a fucking, I don't want to be mean, but he's an ugly bastard. God. I'm gonna send you the picture of this guy here. I have his mugshot.
Okay.
And you just tell me, does this look like a man who was willing to strangle somebody for a Pop-Tart?
Yes.
Yeah.
Also looks like somebody we know.
Yeah, that's also, so it's the jowls, isn't it?
Yep.
It's the nose, it's the jowls, it's the dead eye.
Yep.
You know, like, this guy looks like he would have killed somebody for a Pop-Tart. And luckily, he rethought before going at a woman with a knife to throw it aside, then strangle her instead. God, this man is
For a Pop-Tart.
For a fucking Pop-Tart, baby. There's no good comes from a guy like that. Oh, yeah. Got into almost killed a woman because of an argument about Pop-Tarts. I've heard for less, though, honestly. I heard people getting shot because somebody got cut off in traffic. It wasn't like, it's 3 more seconds than you had to deal with, and then you had the audacity to pull a gun and shoot out your window to kill a person. I've heard people get hurt or murdered for a lot less than a fucking Pop-Tart. At least the Pop-Tart's fucking food.
It's a Pop-Tart.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd fucking kill you for a s'more Pop-Tart right now. Matter of fact, I have a knife on me right here.
Oh, God. No.
Now give me my fucking pop.
No.
Dude,
I don't like the s'more ones. You can have it.
I like the s'more ones. I only like the s'more ones if you put them in the toaster. That's the only time they're good to me. What's your favorite What's your favorite Pop-Tart?
Honestly, cookies and cream.
Ah, so you have a good one. Cookies and cream is always good. The Oreo shit, yeah, that's actually a good one. Man, I'll put that one up on like I'll put that actually above s'more, I think. That's a close second. I couldn't decide. All right. You have a loved one, right? Significant other that is, you've been getting into arguments. You're willing to argue about anything, and then you come home, right? You come home and you realize that bitch ate the last fucking cookies and cream Pop-Tart. Are you gonna get into the argument?
I would be like, okay, you ate the last cookies and cream Pop-Tart. Why didn't you tell me to grab some more before I got home? I'm not gonna choke her, threaten to kill her, and throw her physically out of the house.
Why not?
Because of it. No.
Why not?
No.
You wouldn't? Not even a little?
No. I might tickle attack her.
Oh, you might tickle attack. No, but remember, the setup is that you don't like each other that much. You think it's going downhill. So it's going downhill. This relationship's probably not working out, but you're still sticking around.
I mean, that might be the catalyst for me to break up with her.
Yeah, that was the last
goddamn straw.
No, that's the last Pop-Tart out the box. I throw her right out. Man, I'm in a happy relationship. I'm like, baby, you can have all the Pop-Tarts you want. I don't care. You want the last one, sweetie?
Yeah, I like I said, I wouldn't care. I wouldn't take any issue with it. I would be more upset about the fact of, why didn't you just let me know? Like, hey, I'm taking the last one. Can you pick up some more when you're way home from work?
But that's the thing. It said just an argument about Pop-Tarts.
We don't even know.
I don't even know if it was the fact that she ate the last one or he ate the last one. And she what happens if it was just like fat at, like she just like egged him about it?
Well, what if it wasn't even about the last one? What if it was about which flavor was the best?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking. She's just like s'mores. Fucking look at him. He goes, I just like them normal. I like regular strawberries. She's like, you're fucking wrong. like immediately got mad about it.
Just looks at him. You basic bitch.
You're fucking basic. There has to be a little more there. Because obviously when an argument starts, by the end of it, what sets you off isn't the argument anymore of what you were previously arguing about. The argument devolves into something else that causes somebody to snap. So I guarantee maybe he ate the last Pop-Tart and she got mad at him. Maybe she went to the store and was like, why didn't she tell me? He's just like, oh, I didn't think about it. Like, always fucking sitting around doing fucking nothing. Now here you are being a fat ass. Like, immediately, like, that's the argument. But it all started due to Pop-Tart. You know what I'm saying? Pop-Tart was the fucking catalyst to the argument. The argument probably wasn't about Pop-Tarts, but if it was, because that's the emphasis on this, it was an argument about Pop-Tarts.
Yes. Which makes me wonder.
I think they got an argument about which flavor was the best.
Yeah, me too. That's
I see stupid motherfuckers all the time. I think it's that.
Yeah.
Keep an eye out for a man by the name of Jeremiah Brown. Because if he gets loose on the streets, you too might be a victim of the Pop-Tart Strangler. First-degree strangulation. If he just killed her, this would be a huge different story, honestly.
Yeah.
That would... God, if he killed her. Oh, no, that would be so fucking bad. Imagine you're at somebody's funeral, and you don't know how they died, right? Like, you're like a coworker, and you just come into, like, you only knew her, like, she was like just a good coworker, but, like, your other coworkers were like, well, let's go pay the family, like, respect and everything, and tell them, a little something about them, no matter what it is. And, because when somebody dies, you just do what you can. And then you're at that funeral and you go, how did she die? Like,
she died in an argument over a Pop-Tart.
She died due to Pop-Tart.
That's the way the Pop-Tart crumbles.
That's the way that Pop-Tart pops, baby. It shoots right out that... That's the way the tart pops. You know what I'm saying? That's the way the tart pops. Her time in the toaster was done. That one kind of sounds like a... That one sounds like an offing joke. No, it wasn't that. I mean, there wasn't a bathtub with a toaster. No, she died due to an argument with a Pop-Tart. Like, ugh. Ooh.
Oh, man.
Not the way I would like to go.
No.
All right. Man charged with murder of 15-year-old girl who vanished in 2017. The teen girl was allegedly brought from Arizona to Iowa by her mother to live on the suspect's farm, police say. So this man, the girl who disappeared on the farm to the man who I believe fucking killed her. It's a Georgia man, has been charged in 2017 for the disappearance of a teenage girl. On Monday, August 12th, James, Bochmertsky is his name, 65, from Emmanuel County, Georgia, was charged with second-degree murder for the death of a 15-year-old Jade Mary Colvin, according to the Winnebago, I think that's how you pronounce it, Winnebago County Sheriff's Office in Iowa. Authorities allege that Colvin's mother brought her to live, on Bochmertsky's farm in spring 2017, but it's unclear why. She was reportedly last seen or heard from 2 days after her arrival. A Winnebago County Sheriff's Office was made aware of the teenage girl's disappearance May 2022. So, she disappears 2017. Mm-hmm. This county sheriff's office was made aware of the teen's disappearance in 2022. So for 5 years, they're not fully clear if this was reported in 2017. Yeah, it just states that they were informed in 2022. So for 5 years, this went unnoticed.
That's fishy.
Yeah, but the mother sends the child there for unknown reasons, and within 2 days, she just vanishes. And out of nowhere, the disappearance isn't brought up for 5 fucking years? Sounds like the mother and this guy was planning something. 5 years. Nobody says anything. And it's a 15-year-old. So did the schools not say anything?
Yeah, that doesn't seem right.
Because if a child doesn't like appear in school, right? They're 15. They don't even have like some places in the US you can't in high school get a workman's permit till you're like 16, and I knew this because I had a workman's permit. So I wasn't allowed to leave for my job until, like I was like 16 where I could actually be hired for a specific job.
Mm-hmm.
So this 15-year-old disappears. Clearly she's 15, still a minor, disappears fully within 2 days of being brought to this guy's little creepster farm, and just out of nowhere, nobody says shit for 5 years.
Now, forgive me if I'm not here, if I didn't catch it. This guy is not a family member to her, right?
No, this is just a fucking guy.
Why the fuck was she
remember,
there in the first place?
They originally lived in Arizona, and then they went to Iowa. That's kind of that's not a close drive. So why from all the way to Arizona do you go to Iowa, and within 2 days the child disappears and you don't bring it up for 5 years? Yeah, there is no excuse for that.
No, there's not.
Where was I? Yeah, the disappearance in May 2022 by U.S. Marshals Service and the National Center of Missing and Exploited Children. So that was brought up to them. After 2 years' investigation, authorities have arrested Bachmertsky's, and I'm just going to call him Mertsky, in connection with the death of Colvin. The investigation is ongoing. The possibility of additional charges and arrests per a press release. Police state that no additional information about the case has been released at the time. So as of like right now, shit's still being processed right now. It's unclear for Bachmertsky has retained an attorney to speak on his behalf. Reports state that his first court appearance is on... Oh shit, actually, his court appearance actually was just done. It was on Tuesday, August 13th, with a preliminary hearing on August 20th. So in 3 days, this guy's gonna get his preliminary hearing. So until then, we might actually have to keep on. I might have to put this one down and keep on the story. Hold on, actually.
Yeah.
So this might be an ongoing thing. I want to hear more about this shit. So I'm gonna keep that in the fucking file. That one is strange. And I want to hear more about how this unfolds. I want to hear about the mother more. Honestly, they need to check in on the mother. They didn't bring up anything other than she was the one that sent her away, but never gave a definitive reason why. They got to check that mother.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, and they don't even bring up the mother's name, but maybe that's because it's still in a court hearing state, so they probably don't want to release any other information until then. But yeah, they don't state the mother's name, they don't state the teenage girl's name, but they state this guy's name. So, James Bachmertsky, age 65. This fucking guy, he doesn't look confused or remorseful. He looks like a guy who's like, I'll send you the picture as well. This motherfucker. He looks like a guy who's just like he looks like, yeah, they caught me in a weird way. Like, they just like,
yeah.
He has like, he just has that facial feature. Because if I was being held for a crime that I didn't commit, I wouldn't be looking the way he does. He kind of has like a weird smirk about him. Like, he looks like he's on the verge to smiling.
Yeah, he does look like, he looks eerily calm in that picture.
Yeah, he looks almost wistful about it. God, that's so fucking... He has like his full black eyes. He's almost kind of haunting to look at.
Yeah.
Imagine him on a farm, like just in different clothing, and he's just like out in a gray field somewhere staring at you from a distance, and he has that look on his face.
Doing a mighty fine job over there.
You look pretty. You look pretty. Come here. How you doing, sweetheart? No, thank you.
I'm good.
I'm all right. You sure? Yeah. I got a fresh thing of lemonade made. I don't like lemonade. Pop-Tarts? No, thanks. See
What's your favorite flavor?
fucking Jeremiah Brown staring from the fucking doorframe, just breathing heavily. I'm just gonna go. I'm good. God,
That's haunting.
yeah.
That
There's
picture.
yeah. He's kind of a haunting looking guy. Don't worry, I'll probably edit their. We'll have the photos when I say the photos are up. In audio, I'll post them up onto screen so people can see these fucking freaks.
Yeah, so they could see their faces.
Yeah, see their
whatnot.
faces, identify them, find them.
So so they don't mention the mother at all.
They don't mention the mother. They don't mention the daughter's name, and the mother has nothing else to do in the story other than that she sends her away and does not specify why.
I'm wondering if she was paid.
That's what I'm thinking.
Like, I'm thinking that she was paid for this, because why else would you send, like, so there's a couple of reasons and why I think something like that would happen. And I've seen videos about, people sending people away for camps, or like quote unquote camps,
Yeah.
To do hard labor because they were just
they're
getting
going
unruly.
up to their uncles.
Yeah.
That's weird. Why don't she go into school? Isn't it the middle of summer? In the middle of like, it's no longer summer or anything like that. It's like, isn't it fall? It's like, because it is in August, so school would be starting up, oddly enough.
Yeah.
But I don't know. You think you would just? You don't think somebody would just disappear for 5 years and nobody talks about it? Just like mother doesn't have anybody, like no other family members that know of this little girl, no friends of this little girl. She's 15. She's a teenager.
You would think that, like, she had friends at her old life and all that.
Or, like a cell phone, or like she's texting, being like, yeah, I'm going up to my uncle's farm. Like she's like saying uncle because maybe she's lied to it. I don't know. I'm speculating shit, clearly. But I don't know what was said to this little girl, why she would be willingly going to this location unless she was told, like, a vacation was happening or some shit. Or she was texting her friends. Like, there's nothing else to this massive story other than that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, why? What about the mom? What about Mima? What's she doing?
Yeah.
She ain't doing shit? You ain't gonna question why your daughter's been disappeared for 5 fucking years? Mother's in on it, clearly.
Yeah.
But it's weird that they didn't bring her up.
So, the only other thing I can think of is that I know that when they report on stuff, they do not name the victims.
Yeah, they don't name the victims, but like,
and so unless the mother,
the girl's on a missing report, meaning if she's been reported upon, the name is out there. They're just not putting it in there.
Mm-hmm.
God, and it states that that they disappeared, and now he's being trialed for murder. But it doesn't state anything about finding a body. So she's gone, and he just won't tell. It's so fucking strange.
It is.
See, now I had that fucking story. I didn't really fully, like, kind of comprehend it. Now I'm really deeply looking at it, I'm like, there has to be somebody that asked, hey, where's, like, Angelica? Like,
yeah, where's so and so? Like,
where's Sarah at? Where's Ashley? Where is she? Like, I text her all the time. She just gone? Like, ugh, God, it's kind of upsetting to think about.
Yeah, it very much is.
All right, I got 2 911 phone calls now. For those who are squeamish to ideas that you are hearing that of somebody being killed over a phone call, or a murderer admitting to his crime over 911 phone calls, some of these phone calls, I only got 2 of them, can be haunting. The old lady one is the second one. We're just going to listen to the first one. This is a man who calls a police station. He's outside of it, and he is admitting to a murder that he had done here. I'll share my screen with you here. Let me get this. I should have did this beforehand. But yeah, This is the 911 phone call for that. You ready?
Yep.
Operator 1343. Where is your emergency?
I'm here at the police station, Mineral Falls.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's wrong?
I killed my sister. I'm turning myself in
Where did it happen at?
at my house,
Where do you live at?
247 Mineral Falls Avenue.
How'd you kill her?
I strangled her.
It's a Pop-Tart Strangler, baby. No. You hear how calm he is about it, though? Like,
Yeah,
he just gives it up. Like, let's hear that more. Like, how, like, he just, he's calling as if it's like a normal day. Like, he's, like, giving off his, like, information to, like, God, I don't know. It's just like if you're calling your bank and it's almost just matter of fact. It sounds kind of like that's why it's a little haunting. Let's hear that one more time where he's just like,
Falls?
Okay.
Yeah.
What's wrong?
I killed my sister. I'm turning myself in
Where did it happen at?
at my house,
Where do you live at?
247 Mineral Falls Avenue.
just
How'd you
divulges
kill
it.
her?
I strangled her.
What apartment number?
247 Mineral Falls.
When did you do this?
I just did it this morning.
How old's your sister?
She's 32.
How did you strangle her?
I got angry and I strangled her. We had an argument. She said she's gonna hurt my mom and everything, and she's out to hurt my mom and everything. And I just lost it.
What's your last name, hon?
Hanley.
Hanley?
Yeah, Hanly.
Do you have it? Is this your cell phone that you're calling on?
Yes, I'm here at the police station at Monroe Falls.
Okay. You okay? Are you okay? What's your first name?
Larry.
Your first name's Larry?
Yes.
Okay, Larry, I'm just going to keep you on the line.
Yeah, I'm frantic. I'm just panicked. I just lost it.
Okay. Are you on any medication of any sort?
I was taking Respirodol and stuff like that.
What's that for, hon? What's that for?
And we'll just end it right there. Yeah, that he was admitting to the murder of his 32-year-old sister, strangled her. He said that she threatened his mother, and he said he snapped and lost it and strangled her. Got into an argument, strangled her, and he was making a call from Mineral Wells County Police Station. And he talked like it was just a matter of fact. Like, that's what's kind of like... And he's just like, I'm panicked right now. I'm panicked. Like, he sounded just like... He sounded like a fucking corpse talking, honestly.
He really didn't sound panicked. Like, he sounded more lucid than anything.
Yeah, maybe that's why he was panicked. Maybe he was like shell-shocked that he did it, and now that he's admitting it and really thinking about it, it's like coming in on him all at once.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, that is, what a podcast.
Yeah.
That I'm fucking throwing you through that you, I didn't even know if you were ready for any of this, and I was just like, let's throw him into the deep end. It's fine. He'll be all right. You holding up? How's everything doing? You want a cookie?
I'm doing fine.
Pop-Tart? Orange juice, Pop-Tart, anything? Anything you want?
No Pop-Tart. No
Pop-Tart.
No.
And we have the second one here. If you are horribly squeamish, please try to just, it is, when I start it, it's at 56 seconds. So like jump to a minute or something if you don't want to listen to this. And we're going to be starting as soon as I start it, jump like a minute ahead if you don't want to hear this. You ready? You ready to play? Because you gotta you have to be ready for it.
Yeah.
Me, I smile during these, so that's fine.
This is Ruth Price of 3877. What's the problem, ma'am? Oh, well, there's some guy been checking the place out. How? Well, he went in the back. I have an apartment in the back, and he said he was looking for a guy. And he comes to my door, and yes, and said he's looking for an apartment. So I live alone, and I'm an old lady. Mm-hmm. Where is he now, ma'am? I don't have no idea.
Okay. Thoughts?
It doesn't get better the second time I've heard it.
It doesn't get any fucking better.
I've heard that before.
God.
And it's still unnerving.
Yeah, she's an old woman who lived alone in an apartment. And she screamed as loud as she could, fought as hard as she did, and nobody could save her. Nobody thought to come and save that woman, or they just couldn't, or they saved themselves, whatever it is. There's no blaming towards anybody about that, but that goes to just show you that you can scream your heart out, you can fight as hard as you want, but if somebody is going to kill you, they're going to kill you. Unless you kill them first, or if you have something to actually defend yourself with. Yeah. But screaming isn't going to help, essentially, unless you live with somebody or you know there's somebody close by that can save you. God, an old woman who lived alone, and that's what happens to her. Alone. This that's a terrible way of looking at it too. Just she's all alone.
I try to make a point, because I do live alone myself, to at least talk to my neighbors and be friendly to them.
Talk to your neighbors.
Yeah, like, so that if I scream and I can't do anything, like, somebody will be around to try to help out, you know?
And I'll be honest with you, the most I'll do in that situation, if there was like my neighbors were screaming, I don't know my neighbors. If they were screaming, I'm at least calling 911. But I'm not going over there. But if I knew, like, if it was you, Plague, next door, and I hear you and you're going, oh, like you're screaming like blood, I'll be like, I run over with like a fucking, like a hatchet, like in the hand, like kicking in the door, being like, what the fuck's going on? Like, I would do something to save you.
It's Pop-Tart time.
It's Pop-Tart time. Like, dude, I'm doing something to save you. Like, that would be like, get to know your neighbors. Maybe they might secretly be fucking Rambo or some shit, ready to go full ham on a bunch of dudes that are trying to kill you or some shit.
And I have an actual personal story about getting to know your neighbors and actually, you know, what good it can do in a situation like that.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, a long story short, there was these two kids who were, my old apartments in Texas, were going and trying to break into apartments and whatnot. And they didn't have small knives on them.
I'm going to be honest with you, before, not to interrupt you.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking kids have nothing to lose. Those are sociopaths.
Yes.
Kids don't know empathy either. Like teenagers, they're hormonal. They have less empathy than the standard person because they have nothing to fucking lose because they're ridiculed or they're bullied or something. That's how motherfucking, you know, school shooters exist, because they're horribly mistreated or they have some form of mental illness. Not saying that every mental illness causes violence, but violence can occur in a person who has mental illness that's being abused. Like, and especially with a lot of these kids, because if it's kids, they don't really fucking hold empathy in their body. The empathy is something you learn, like, and that everybody naturally has. But when it comes to sociopaths, they can't learn it. They have none of that shit.
No.
And a kid is a tiny sociopath because they haven't learned it yet.
No, they haven't. And yeah, I mean, it was evident because they were out to do something. And my neighbor across the breezeway was seeing them going to the other apartments, and he called the cops. And it's this big black dude that was my neighbor across the breezeway.
You know he's gonna fucking cover you.
Yeah, because we would sit out and talk all the time. Whenever I had a cigarette, he came out. We would just sit and shoot the shit.
Hell yeah.
And then so the cops came. I'm scared as hell because they almost broke into my place, and I see the hand with the knife like swiping and shit trying to get at me. So they're getting carted off, and then I'm going outside and have a cigarette. Guy comes across. The cops are already interviewed me, and they're just finishing up and all that stuff, talking to any neighbors that might have seen or anything of that nature. And he's looking at me and he puts his hand on my shoulder and he goes, "You okay?" I'm like, "To be honest with you, no, but I'll be okay." And he goes, "Just trust me." And he lifted up his shirt and there's his fucking piece.
Fucking, that's a cool way of a guy being like, "I got you."
Yeah.
Just shows you he has a gun on him. He goes, "If I see a motherfucker, just know that motherfucker ain't gonna be looking at you."
But that's
like,
why
"Thank
you talk to your neighbors.
Talk to your fucking neighbors. They might be super cool.
Yeah.
You don't have to always be there hanging out, but if you're going out for a cigarette, or if you smoke in your house, make it a habit not to smoke in your house. Go smoke a cigarette outside and just say hi to your neighbor or some shit. Like,
Exactly.
Get to know Greg next door. Greg might be super cool. And
Exactly.
he might be a doomsday prepper or some shit, but when it comes down to it, he's at least gonna be out there giving you some rations so you can survive. Like,
Yeah.
he's gonna ask you if you have a shellfish allergy or some shit, and then he's gonna give you a chicken MRE rather than the shrimp one. You know why? Because he cares.
He cares. about
Kathy
you.
across the street, she's lining up a shot on that little kid's head. She's gonna make sure that he's not wielding a knife to kill you. Get to know your neighbors. Oh God, we're already to an hour. This fucking flew by, dude.
It did.
I had so much fun talking about the news, but
Yeah.
we didn't get to the one story I wanted to share. We'll do it next time.
Okay.
It is an old story, old, 1955, and I'll tell you the name of the story
Okay.
just to get you hyped up for the next time we talk about it. I'll do the intro. I have the introduction to it.
Okay.
It is the story of the Kentucky Goblins.
Ooh.
This is an alien story.
Ooh.
But these creatures were seen as these little metallic goblinoid 3.5 foot tall beings and this all took place in Hopkinsville. Actually, it took place in Kelly, Kentucky, and they went to the Hopkinsville police station in southwest Kentucky at the time. But God, it is essentially a story of fending off a siege of these entities, and I'm so excited to share it. But we'll have to do it another time because we hit that hour mark, and I want to keep these to an hour so they're digestible and it doesn't have a bunch of people like, I don't want to listen to a 4-hour fucking podcast. So we'll do 1 hour.
That's an easily digestible
Yeah, it's
bite.
easy. Just an hour, you sit down, you listen to it. That's why I want to do it. So thank you guys so much for listening to this very first episode, kind of a pilot for us. Thank you, Blake, for taking on this challenge along with me as a co-host here for Otherworldly. God, I didn't mean to fucking 1-2 combo a 911 phone call, but I did. But if you like what you heard here today, thank you so much. Like and follow, subscribe, notification. If you want to help us, if you want to support this and you love what you heard today and you want more of this, you got to show your support so we can keep doing it. Because it is crucial to have a fan base that supports you so you can continue to do what you want to do.
Indeed.
It's hopefully people like what they heard today and they did not hide away at the 911 phone call and just turn off the fucking, podcast. It's informative, at least. It's at least informative to tell you, hey, get to know your neighbors. Don't send your kid away to some man and, just Georgia somewheres who will disappear in 2 days, but you won't question it for 5 years. And for the love of God, if you're going to strangle or kill your spouse over an argument, just leave.
Yeah, and not do it over a Pop-Tart.
Don't do it over a Pop-Tart, at least. Do it over something like she's gonna, like, kill a baby. Then you can fucking strangle her until she goes out. Do something.
Yeah. Don't, yeah.
And if there's a little old lady who lives by herself in an apartment complex, get to know that. Check in on her, please. An old man, please check in on them.
Yeah.
God. They don't have much time anyways. Just let them ride it out. Come on. Any other final messages you want to share?
No, not at this time.
If you also have any emails you want to send, any stories you want to share, whether they are cryptid, whether they are ghost, whether they are just odd, you can share them. I made an email for people to share their very own experiences, which they will be read beforehand. I'm not gonna fucking read them on air and be fucking tricked by you guys, like saying a bunch of slurs and shit at me. You won't trick me. I'll read them first, you fucking idiots. Don't do it.
We're watching you.
I'm watching. I'm literally gonna read it to see what it's about first. You can go ahead and go below into the description below and email me, and I will gladly take in your stories, and they will be read on the podcast if that's all right. If they aren't, don't send them in, you asshole. Like so many times how I've streamed before, I will see you all next time, Plague. Anything else you want to say to these guys?
Like we said, get to know your neighbor. Don't fight off for Pop-Tarts. And for the love of God, don't send your 15-year-old daughter states away with some guy who looks like
a serial killer.
Yeah, he looks like Kane. He looks like an actual psychopathic version of Kane Hodder.
You know what? If you hate the kid.
No.
Oh, no. No, we're ending it. No. Bye, guys. Thank you so much. Oh, no.